happen. But there are free Zoom plans versus paid Zoom plans. Myself, I use a paid Zoom plan just because I hold a lot of these webinars, and there's definitely some pros and cons to the free versus paid Zoom plans. The basic is free or free with credit card in case you want to sign up for the pro edition after using the free version for a while. There's also Business Enterprise, which is for very large types of corporations who intend on holding meetings for over 100 people. This next slide is actually some different bullet points on the different types of membership that Zoom has. So the free version is, it's okay. You can, I think, hold up to 100 participants, but the only thing is with the free version is you'd only get a 40-minute limit on group meetings. I think the average meeting for a business or, you know, a board of directors and everything, in my experience, is about an hour. You get your video conferencing features, your web conferencing features, you get your security. However, I think the pro version is probably the best for small businesses, you know, and businesses and organizations such as the Chamber of Commerce. You can have up to 100 participants, and you can have a duration limit for your meeting up to 24 hours. I really doubt that any meeting is going to go past 24 hours. I sincerely hope isn't going to go past 24 hours. You get your admin feature controls, which we'll go over further into the presentation. You get your custom meeting ID, and I think personally in my experience, the pro version actually has better security than the free. And you can actually pay for the pro version at a prorated yearly rate, or you can do the $14.99 a month. It's usually up to you. Oops, sorry about that. Let me go back. Yep. Sorry. There we go. There's also the business for small and medium businesses, and then the enterprise, which is for the larger corporations. You get dedicated customer success managers, business reviews, and you get discounts on webinars and Zoom rooms. So it's entirely up to you which one you want to pick. If you want to keep things basic, you know, stick with the free for a while. You want to try out the pro, you know, try out for the small teams one. But all of this information is available on their website if you want to explore it further. Here's some descriptions on the different types of Zoom memberships. A basic user is a user without a paid license. 3 or more participants can join, and the meeting will time out after 40 minutes. They can't utilize user and account add-ons such as large meeting, webinar, or conference room connector. Right now, we're actually on the webinar setting for Zoom. And the licensed and paid, Zoom's Pro Business and Enterprise packages come with additional features, an increase in meeting duration limits, cloud recording, which is really important. Cloud recording is basically recording the presentation and it's uploaded to Zoom's cloud storage, so you can download it later to watch it. Skype for Business, you can combine Zoom and Skype for interoperability. Skype, I don't know if you've heard of it, is another type of video conferencing. It was kind of the Zoom before Zoom. And you can also add in the company branded custom background with the license and paid Zoom membership, which we'll go over how to make further into the presentation. Zoom has mobile apps and Chrome extensions. So if you have, you know, your Apple Store, if you have an iPhone, these are the links that you can actually download these extensions and apps at. I'm actually going to put my contact info at the end of the presentation, so if anybody wants these slides, they can take them and use these links to download the various extensions and mobile apps. The Chrome extension makes it really easy because what it does is it installs an icon at the top of your Chrome screen, which you can use to just click on and start and end meetings and edit them, as opposed to going to the Zoom website. Zoom security has been kind of a controversial subject. I don't know how many of you have heard of the term Zoom bombing. But unfortunately, it's been kind of an issue since Zoom started, so they've had to edit and kind of refine their security practices, both on their end and on the user end. The best practices for making sure your Zoom meeting stays safe from Zoom bombers: make sure you password protect your meetings, authenticate your users, try to get them to sign up for actual Zoom accounts, lock your meeting down, don't let participants screen share, because that's how a lot of the Zoom bombing happens. Always enable waiting rooms. I think there's an update on August 7th for Zoom, which you can't run a meeting anymore unless you have a waiting room utilized. And don't let anybody file share. That's a great way to spread computer viruses and malware. Here is just an infographic off of the Zoom website of more best practices for security meetings. And they update this probably at least once a month as they kind of lock down their security more. You don't want to share your meetings IDs or password on social media. Make sure it goes to the person when they register for it, to their email privately. Know your privacy and security controls. That's a big one. If you want to keep it simple, keep Zoom's default security on. They know what's best, so just do it their way. And then try to enable the meeting registration, because that will actually tell you who is on the meeting, and if there is an issue, you have the option to actually kick them out of the meeting. Okay, so today we're going to go over just basic Zoom tech tutorials, how to set up meetings, join a meeting, and a couple other things. So I'm actually going to hop off of this screen share onto a different screen after, because I have to set up a meeting this afternoon with a client of mine. So we're going to hop into my Zoom account and kind of set one up in real time. So let's see. So what we're doing today is we're actually on a webinar, and this screenshot right here explains a meeting versus webinar in Zoom. So registration is available for both. The only difference really is you can do practice sessions in a green room in webinar, and you can't do breakout rooms, unfortunately, in webinar, but you can do them in large meetings. Okay, so you have different controls as an attendee or a host on Zoom. This is the control screen for hosts, and I'm actually going to hop out right now and go over to my Zoom screen so I can set up that meeting. So this is the Zoom desktop site. So what I want to do is I want to sign in. I've already signed in. I'm a registered user. So this is your basic home screen for Zoom when you go to the website. Everything that you want to do with Zoom is on this screen. So you can join a meeting, you can host a meeting, you can change your profile. So I want to schedule a different meeting this afternoon for a client of mine. So I would go to schedule a meeting, and keep in mind this might look different on a cell phone, but you'll kind of have to explore that on your own, but it's pretty basic and the user controls are the same. So I want to do Jess, Carol, and Lauren meeting. All right, so I want to do it this afternoon at actually 3:30. So what I would do, obviously, is I would select today, and I am going to do 3:30, not AM. That would be terrible. And it automatically sets for an hour, but you can set that to really whatever you want. I'm going to say an hour and a half here, just because we have important stuff to go over. For an Eastern time, obviously. I'm going to do required registration just because I want to show you guys how to do it. But they actually have to register for the meeting to be able to get the meeting access code and password, which is actually right here. don't Zoom bomb me later, FYI. So I have some other controls here. I want the video on for myself when I hop in. I also want the video on for the participant so I can see them face to face. I think one of my participants is calling in on a cell phone, so I can pick both audio and computer audio. So that gives you the option to speak on a cell phone or on the computer audio microphone, which you have to make sure your microphone is operable to get Zoom to work for you. So I have more options down here. If I want to keep them quiet when they come in, I can mute them upon entry. If I want only people who have signed up as an official Zoom member, I can do that too. And I can record the meeting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this meeting. Okay. So this is what happens when you set up a meeting. You have a couple options here. You can add it to your Google Calendar, your Outlook calendar, or Yahoo, really whatever you use. Here's your meeting ID. And this is actually the meeting registration link I'm going to send them so they can register for the meeting. And it's really convenient. I usually make this a little bit more personable. I'll say, hi, Carol and Jess. Here's the meeting link. I'll copy that, and then I can send that to them by email. Okay, all right, so let me go back to my screen share. And when I'm in that meeting, going back to host controls, there's a bunch you'll see at the bottom of the screen. You can mute, you can stop or start video, you can choose your virtual background, invite more participants, see who exactly is on the Zoom call at the time. You can share screen like I'm doing right now. Open your chat panel to see if there's any questions or discussions going on. You can record the meeting, which is really important. And then there's that option of creating breakout meetings. And then, of course, ending the meeting as well. Only the host can end the meeting. As a participant, here's the screen that you're going to see. You can mute yourself. You can turn off your video. And that, click this arrow right here. And, oops, my bad. This will give you the option to turn the video on and off. You can also invite participants, see who else is on the call, chat, and record the meeting. That's only if the host has enabled the option to record the meeting as well. So there's different options for viewing the screen in Zoom, as I'm sure you probably know at this point. I have some screenshots ahead of the different video views. So the most common one is the full screen video view. You can take any of the layouts except mini window into full screen by clicking the icon with the 4 arrows at the top of your Zoom screen. I can't do that right now because I'm in screen share, but you folks should be able to try it yourself. You can exit full screen by clicking exit full screen or pressing the escape key on your keyboard. Pretty simple. So this is what full screen would look like. And then the active speaker view is the default video layout. It will switch the largest video window between who is speaking. If it's one-on-one meeting, it will display your video at the top and the other participants' video. And that's what that looks like. Gallery view is better if you're going to be holding larger scale meetings because you can see everybody face to face. You can see up to 49 participants at a time, but it actually switches people around so you're not seeing the same 49 faces. And you can actually scroll through to see the remaining participants if there's somebody in particular that you're looking for. So here's what that would look like. If we switch to this today, I would see all 40 of you listed. Breakout rooms are a pretty neat feature that Zoom has enabled. We've used this quite a bit of time at the WLCN meetings. And here is kind of some quick instructions about how to do that. Again, it's all based on starting in your settings and your profile when opening up the Zoom website. So this is the screenshot of what the breakout room setting page is. So this would be under settings and be in meeting basic. And if I want to start up a breakout room, this is what I have to enable right here. This is what it looks like before, and then you just click to enable that. And you can also click this, so you can assign breakout rooms to specific people when setting up the meeting. So for instance, if I went in and I wanted to split, I don't know, Jenny and Teresa into one room, I can set them up to go into their own breakout room, and then I can set up, Ellen and Jenny in a different room for breakout room. And that can all happen when the Zoom meeting is actually scheduled. Okay, so a profile tab is basically your control for everything with Zoom. You change your name, you can change your email, change your statuses to away, available, or do not disturb so people don't bother you. You can make sure that your Zoom version is up to date. It's very important to make sure you have an up-to-date version of software to make sure you have the best security possible. And then you can upgrade to Pro and then chat with other people if you do prefer to do so. So this is, again, going back to my profile screen. So this is what it looks like on the back end. You've already seen this. I can choose from looking at my meetings, my webinars, my recordings, my settings. We're just gonna hop actually back to my Zoom screen. Give me one moment. Okay, sorry about that. That took a moment. So here's my profile. I always recommend uploading a decent looking headshot if you have one. If you don't have a headshot, you can always use your company logo. It kind of just gives you a backup if your video decides not to work, but they can put a face to a name because it will automatically show that profile picture up and replace a video on meetings. So let's see what meetings I have. So today I just scheduled the Just Carol Learn meeting at 3:30. And when I want to start this meeting, all I do is press start, and that should say, Lauren's ready to start the meeting, please come in. And if for some reason Justin Carroll didn't get the notification that the meeting started, I can actually send them a real-time notification by email that says, hey, the meeting started, please get in here as soon as possible. Let's see. I don't have any webinars, but I do have recordings. This was a virtual digital marketing class I did back in May for some landscapers. So because I recorded the meeting, I have this as a backup, and I can always send this to somebody who would like to watch it because it's uploaded to the cloud in Zoom. And go back to okay. Here's some basic descriptions of the different tabs on Zoom as to what they do. We kind of just went over that live on my Zoom screen, but you can, refresh the screens if you don't see your meeting. You can start your meetings. You can edit your meetings. You can delete your scheduled meetings. And what we're going to do is actually edit a meeting. So I think I just went over that in my description. So let's see. If I decide that, I'm not feeling too well today and I want to edit my meeting to make it later in the day, I can click on it. And what I want to do is scroll down and I can edit this meeting. So if I decide that I want to make it at 3 o'clock instead, I'm going to do that. Very simple. And then I'm just going to click save. If I decide that I want to just delete this meeting altogether, all I have to do is go back to that meeting screen and I have to go to delete this meeting. And then the meeting is deleted and off of Zoom. I can also save this meeting as a template. and it will actually copy over all the information that I've put in for the current meeting, and that's really useful for recurrent meetings. But I don't need to do that today, so that's fine. Okay, back to present. Okay. Okay, so this is just some screenshots of, the different controls on the various Zoom screens, but we went over it live, so I'm going to go to the next screen. Recordings are one of the greatest things that Zoom has available besides the breakout rooms. So every session that I usually do with clients, I record just so they can use it as a point of reference after the meeting is done. For example, I believe Johanna said that we are actually going to record this meeting today. So you folks have the information after the meeting is over. For the option for me, I can have that recording available, or you can just take the slides. You can, when you go into your recordings tab, you can obviously play the video, or there's an option of, if you only feel like hearing the audio, you can do that too. You can delete the meeting if you don't want it, and you can also download it so you can take it off of the cloud on Zoom and have it as a backup on your computer. I always opt for cloud storage just because I think it's more secure, and computers have a tendency to crash occasionally, so cloud storage will actually have it online, so it's always available. Okay, so here's again just a screenshot of what the meetings tab looks like, and this goes back to my recording of the landscaping virtual digital marketing class. So all I'd have to do is go under profile, and then I'd go to recordings, and all my recordings are here. Okay, so kind of the last focus is going to be using our virtual background feature, which is one of the great unique things about Zoom as well. So here are some instructions on how to set up your virtual background feature. And we're actually going to go over today a quick tutorial on how to actually make a virtual background with a cloud Photoshop program called Canva. So let me up to the next slide. Okay, so there's a certain there are certain numbers that make it so your background looks the best. One of the first recommendations is actually obtaining a green screen. I'm going to go to our Amazon account. This one, perfectly fine, only $17, Prime. And it's perfect. It's very popular. It's one of the most popular items out there. And make sure you just have a matte finish as opposed to a non-reflective background, because that will mean if you have a reflective background, your camera will actually have trouble going back and forth and deciding who you are versus the background. Sorry about that. So Zoom recommends using backgrounds MP4 or MOV file with a minimum resolution of 480 360 pixels. That will ensure that they can actually see the background and it's not just a giant pixelated blob. If your background image includes text, uncheck the mirror my video option in your settings so your text isn't backwards. Okay, so we're actually going to head over to Canva right now to kind of learn how to make a virtual Zoom template. So I'm going to click this, and here we are in Canva. So a little bit about Canva. I do a ton of content marketing at my business, and Canva is a little bit easier than using full-blown Photoshop. For $15 a month, you get unlimited access to over, I think, 2 million stock photos. You can get text, you can get backgrounds, templates for all types of social media, for blogs. The possibilities are pretty much endless with it. And like I said, it's a little bit quicker than easier than Photoshop. I highly recommend it. And another cool feature about it is you can actually set up company branded templates to go with your Canva account. So for instance, My company branding is purple and green, so if I've set up a template with everything being purple and green with a certain font and certain size. Okay, so there's a couple ways that you can make your Zoom background. These are called templates, and they're already pre-made. So you can go with, your pretty Mount Fuji in the background. You can go with clouds. I prefer to be custom, so I can do custom branded. So all I'm going to do is go to create blank Zoom virtual background. Okay, and this is already sized correctly and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself my company branded, that's a little too bright. My company branded purple background. I am going to add some text. And again, this goes back to my company branded font, which is Barlow. And I can increase that font size. And I can make sure it lines up correctly in the middle. And if I want, I can actually upload my, sorry about that. My logo is in here somewhere. As you can see, I use this software quite often, so there's a lot of information in here. It's somewhere in here. Here we go. All right, so I can actually put my logo in there. And so my face can stay front and center. I'm actually going to put that there. I'm not going to go too far into this today, but you can do really whatever you want with this. You can animate it. So if I want to put have this move around like that, that's probably going to get aggravating watching it over and over again. Then I want to download it. So it automatically downloads as an MP4. So I do download. Usually takes a few minutes to actually download videos. And there's my MP4. So what I would do is I would head back to Zoom. I would start my meeting, and then I can upload my virtual background. So that's just a fun, easy way to do it. It's entirely up to you. There also is a free version of Canva, but I think you actually have to pay $1 for any of the stock photography you use. But just head it out and check it out. It's canva.com. I'm going to start closing down the meeting. So we actually have part 2 of How to Own the Room with Zoom, and that's on Wednesday, August 19th at 8:30. Ellen Renato and Jenny Drescher from the Boulder Company are actually going to go over some best practices for looking great and communicating effectively on Zoom, which I'm definitely going to be in attendance for because I'm not really a public speaker. I'm better behind a screen, so I'm definitely going to pay attention to this. They'll go over lighting, dress, where you should have your video, and the best audio techniques. The registration link will be up soon on the Chamber website. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up the Q&A tab for questions. Okay. All right, so we have 2 questions. What software are you using for my presentation? Ellen, I'm actually using just the simple Google Slides on Google Drive. So it automatically saves it, and I can make a link afterwards to send to people if they have questions. How do I upload my virtual background? Oh, that's a very good question. I totally forgot how to do that, or totally forgot how to go over that. So I'm going to go back to my screen and go to Zoom. Oops. Okay, so where is company branding? So I'm going to go to meetings to upload my virtual background. For this afternoon, I'm going to go to the Jess and Carol meeting. So I'm going to brand, and this is going to be, oh, I apologize. So your company branding This will display at the top of your page. That can be something that kind of slides through. And if you want your logo displayed on your invitation page, you can actually upload that as well, just to add better company branding. When you open your meeting, that is the time that you actually want to upload your, excuse me, your virtual background. So if I started a different meeting, I would actually go to, I don't know if I can do it in webinar, unfortunately, but let me get you that information. So you guys can just take this information right here. So you can customize your background, your room floor location. And this is actually, if you guys want to take a look at this link, I can put that into the slides for you. And it also has some great information on the different type of guidelines and different formats that you can download your background in. And this is actually some instructions on going into the Zoom web portal, click your room management, and then account settings. And this is where you would actually put your virtual background in. If you guys want this link, just let me know at the end of the presentation and I'll send it over to you. Okay. Here we go. Okay, does the Pro Plan allow for breakout rooms? Yes, it does for Mary Claire. And that is any type of, I think it's the Pro or the Enterprise or the Education as well. Okay, do we have any other questions today? Okay, if the host has a paid subscription and the guest has the free version, the guest will get, yes, Nancy, that is, we've had that happen. Unfortunately, one of the board of directors I'm on, the host had the paid version, but the participants had the free version, so they did. Wait, did I read this wrong? Oh, no. I apologize, Nancy. I misread that. If the host has a paid subscription, yes, the unpaid subscriptions for the participants, they will not get kicked out after 40 minutes. I was going to say if the host has the free version, everybody gets kicked out after 40 minutes. I hope that answered your question. Can a personal meeting ID be used for recurring meetings or? A personal meeting ID can be used for recurring meetings. Is it better practice to create a dedicated meeting for each meeting? I prefer the personal meeting ID just because it's simple and people will get to know that number. And I think that creating too many numbers and creating too many ideas is just confusing at this point because everything's going digital. Let's see. In a person meeting. I mean, that's entirely up to you too. Like I said, I enjoy doing the personal meeting IDs, just keeping it simple and using it one. And I think it's more secure that way. And again, going back to best security practices, don't share that information. I hope that answered your question. Any suggestions on guiding others to controls as guests log in? That's a good question, Ellen. A lot of questions here. Hold on one second. All right, I'm just going to take some of these out. Okay, any suggestions on guiding to others as guests log in? That's a really good question. I would maybe come up with a multi-use tutorial of basically an audio tutorial of the different controls, or even better, maybe you can send them some information ahead of time with the basic controls. Maybe make a infographic or tutorial and send it with the meeting invite. I think that would be the best way to do it. Or just come up with kind of a script when you start the meetings as to what the different controls are. So, you know, make sure they know the basics, make sure they know how to start and end video, make sure, this is really important, make sure they know how to mute themselves, because you don't want, you know, the sounds of, you know, kids yelling in the background or really whatever. Okay. Okay, how can participants see the questions being asked? I can only see some of them, both under Q&A and chat. So that's a good question, Barbara. I am actually not sure about that. But I can certainly find out for you. Let me get back to you on that, and I will find out as soon as possible. You know my email, so. Internet stability. So I found that Zoom will cut out kind of fast if my internet, you know, goes into a blank spot in my house. If I sit in a corner in my office, I will actually be disconnected with Zoom. What I would recommend is actually using, getting onto your computer if possible, and actually using an Ethernet cord to make sure that you stay connected to the internet. And I always opt for using a computer as opposed to a phone, just because I know I have that hard connection to the Ethernet, and it's a little bit more stable and secure than using Wi-Fi. I hope that answered your question. Okay, so okay, I think, are we all set for questions, folks? Looks like it. Okay. If I didn't answer anybody's questions, you know, just shoot me an email, and I'm gonna actually go back to my contact info, info@forestcitymarketing.com, or just give me a call. My office is on Main Street, Suite 403. I'm doing office hours by appointment right now because of COVID. So just give me a call and I can meet you down there. I live 5 minutes up the road. But I hope everybody enjoyed the presentation today. I hope I spoke clearly enough, and I highly encourage you to, did I miss something? Yep. Encourage you to register for part 2 on August 19th. And if you have any questions, just give the Middlesex County Chamber of Commerce a call, and we should be able to get that link up soon to register. I hope everybody stays safe and have a wonderful day.